Question: do you have a podcast? Or do you publish MP3 files on your website? Maybe in your membership site or online course? If you said yes, would you want an ugly player that looks like this? How about this? Or this one? Or this one? No, I'm not kidding. Those are some of the terrible looking players being used by some of the biggest podcasters in the industry. Most of them are downright ugly, and a few of them don't even look like audio players. They actually look like a banner ad, which means your visitors won't even notice them on your website, let alone click play. You deserve a better podcast player. All podcasters do. Wouldn't you rather have a really pretty, socially shareable, embeddable player that looks like this? A player that has been designed and optimized to get your visitor to not only notice it, but actually click play and listen to your podcast? Hi, I'm Ravi Jayagopal. I'm the co-founder and co-developer of DigitalAccessPass.com, fondly known as DAP, a leading membership plugin and marketing platform for WordPress. And I am super thrilled to introduce to you my newest creation, CoolCastPlayer.com. CoolCast Player is a powerful yet pretty podcast player that can play individual MP3 files hosted anywhere, as well as give you a playlist player for your entire podcast feed. This is what the episode player looks like. And this is what the feed player looks like. Do you know what's the fastest way to get somebody to listen to one of your podcast episodes? Or maybe a chapter of your audiobook, or even your online audio course? I call it 2-click play. Click number 1 brings them from your email, Facebook post, or Twitter to your website. Click number 2, it's your visitor clicking on the play button to start listening to your podcast episode. Putting a good-looking, well-optimized player on your website is absolutely the fastest and easiest way to get your website visitors to listen to your audio content. Back in September 2015, I launched my first podcast about membership sites and online courses at subscribeme.fm. And I found out pretty quickly that new listeners and subscribers are hard to come by. Even for someone like me who has been in the industry for a long time and has a pretty decent network of followers. Sending people from my email list, from my Facebook posts and tweets directly to iTunes or Stitcher turned out to be a completely wasted call to action, because you have absolutely no control on what happens when they get to this third-party website. And this is even more troubling when you're promoting your podcast via paid ads. Instead, if you brought people over to your own website, now you have a chance to get them to quickly and conveniently click play on the beautiful CoolCast player that they see, prominently placed at the top of every post, and listen to your latest podcast episode without any fuss. No need to download a separate app, and no navigating through confusing iTunes screens. Remove all obstacles between your visitor and your show using 2-click play. And if you want to give them a full taste of your entire show, create a page with your entire feed using the CoolCast Player feed player and promote that page directly on social platforms and your email lists. Here are some of the cool features of CoolCast Player. CoolCast Player is a WordPress plugin, which means you could be installing it and using it in just a few minutes from now, and it is super easy and intuitive to set up. CoolCast Player is fully mobile responsive, which means the player will adjust in size and look just as pretty on screens of all shapes and sizes. CoolCast Player can play individual episodes as well as create a feed player to create a playlist of your entire show. CoolCast Player can play MP3 files hosted anywhere on the internet, be it Libsyn, SoundCloud, Podbean, your own WordPress site, Dropbox, Google Drive, Amazon S3, pretty much anywhere. Now here's a common problem faced by most podcasters. Let's say you interview a special guest on your show. Then you publish the episode on your website and send your guest a link to that page and request them to promote it to their audience. But why would they want to promote your podcast episode playing on your website to their list? Their list is very precious to them. They have spent a lot of time, money, and effort building it, and they're not going to send their precious audience to go to your website just to listen to the interview. But with Coolcast Player's new embed feature, that problem is now solved. Simply publish the interview on your site with Coolcast Player, then click on the little embed button below the player. Take that one line of code and email it to your guest. They can now insert that code on any page on their website and publish that interview right on their page. And the pretty looking Coolcast Player shows up on their website and they didn't even have to install anything. If they can embed a YouTube video on their site, then they can embed your podcast episode. It's that simple. So your show would appear on their site. They don't need to install anything. They just embed a line of code onto any WordPress or non-WordPress page, and now they can comfortably promote your episode playing on their own website to their list. They don't lose their audience. Your episode gets exposure to their audience. Their audience gets to hear awesome new content. Everybody wins. Coolcast Player comes with social sharing buttons for 3 of the largest social networks: Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. There's the option to add 2 additional custom buttons below the player. You can use these to promote your products, your books, your services, or even iTunes and Stitcher links. Ability to pop the player in a new window so the visitor can continue listening to your episode while browsing your website. Speed up the audio without distorting the content. It just cuts out the gaps and you're not going to sound like Alvin the Chipmunk. The feed player supports podcast feeds generated from Libsyn, Podbean, and SoundCloud, and more to come soon. And even if you don't host your podcast at these 3 hosts, you can still use Coolcast Player to play individual episodes and audio files. It works with PowerPress. Simply upload and activate the plugin, and it will instantly insert a beautiful podcast player into all of your PowerPress episode posts. No special configuration required. And of course, there's all the standard features included, like finally, the biggest benefit of them all. Coolcast Player will supercharge your website with a pretty and powerful podcast player that will get your website visitors noticing and listening to your audio content like no other player. I'm Ravi Jayagopal, creator of Coolcast Player. Thanks for watching.